Let's go into server and take a look. Our first map is going to be Cobblestone. Now I look towards Endpoint and I go, Cobblestone, this could be their playground, especially on their T side of all things.
Yeah, a great way to kick the game off for them. They're going to be able to play this. They have a lot of structure on maps like this. It'll be interesting to see how things go. Obviously, with Snods and PT now coming into the team. Two experienced players. Snods, a lot of dedication, wants to improve. And PT, the old Birmingham Salvo, man. And let's see, when we start with a new blood, Snods himself going to go for the approach. Ozzy will be the one to try and contest, walks his way through, but instantly shut down as they go for this explode through drop down. But Pickles can he defend it, Blake?
Pickles going to fire off a few shots, will find himself one, but PT straight back on the trade. Snods now firing off straight back on towards Fountain, will find himself just another to really inkle things out now for Endpoint. They're making it work. Mighty Max on towards Shaney with just another trade. Really builds up into one hell of a round for this T side. Pitting Shiki, feet dug down, heels in the dirt. In a 1 versus 3, what a predicament that he finds himself in now. Playing over towards Decker and Snods, they're just holding ever so tightly, and he's loving it right now. He's feeling it, which I think for the new blood in the team, as you aptly named him, what a way to start.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Obviously, up against Shiki, Snods' very first in-game leader, the man that taught him the ropes of Counter-Strike, set him up to possibly where he has ended up today. This is going to be a very emotional match for him.
This is a proving ground. This is for him to say, you know what, you taught me everything I know, but now I'm going to try and surpass that, right? I'm going to show you that everything you taught me, well, I'm one better, and I think I like that little bit of rivalry. It's nice to see that in an individual basis instead of just team-based in Counter-Strike.
Yeah, but a passion behind him. Obviously, could go the extra mile, given the oomph he needs. Towards mid early on, though, Shaney will get the tag off on towards Max. He was just going for a little bit of an information play, just scouting it out. Seems like they are taking it slow. Smart stuff to do. Obviously, on that infused eco like this, they have gone for the force-up. We have actually got Pickles coming in as well instead of Dream. Now, I believe Dream has departed from the roster. They won't be playing for them anymore. And I think they're still trying to work out who they want as that new fifth. Could possibly be Pickles, though. That would be a fairly effective fit for them.
Yeah, I think Pickles is an incredibly talented player, but either way, is going to be Immy to try and at least crevice his way over in towards drop zone, leading the charge with a good old Mac 10, trying to make some money while he has it. But Ozzy is going to be there to put a bit of a wrench in the works of the pistol, but that doesn't really change too much because the grit of the situation is SMGs will always be overpower pistols, should we say, which is pretty much what is taking place. Ozzy now stuck between a rock and a hard place, literally speaking. He has to try and make it work. Longer range with a 5-7, but fair play to him. Finds himself one, doubles up for a second. Shaney long range with a scout on towards PT. How are they getting away with this? These SMGs should have an easy time to mow them down, but no, Snods, the last man standing, the pillar for this side. And Shiki is there to punish yet again. A great round from Infused, really stepping up with his pistols. Long range 5-7. That's not something you see every day.
And this is the thing, right? Ozzy's been one of my favourite players. Like, out of the newcomers who came to the scene sort of towards last year when he really started to cause a stir, Ozzy was always my favourite. Individually talented-wise, he is so much above so many other players. He's got the firepower. He's such a great player, but he needs to be utilised very effectively. In terms of his own raw aim, though, he can be unstoppable. The aggression coming through this time should ride on Shiki. Opening up towards Immy, hungry for more, but Max can trade it back. They get the follow-up as well. That's that dynamic duo of Infused swiped away instantly into this round.
It's a close range Tech 9's really bringing the fight to their opposition. They want to go up close and personal. The UMP now having to charge through the fire and the flames, but no, there's Ozzy. But on that 10 and fires off one, misses the first shot, but gets the second. Lumsey with the FAMAS as well on towards Mighty Max. Ezio now trying to secure a trade, picks up a double kill for his troubles. So already an impact to be found, pitting it now into a 1 versus 2 Pickles. The subman in for this roster. But this is a tough clutch for him to make. He's got Ezio who's going to be dancing around with that Tech 9 and the rifleman of PT. Kevlar behind him as well, don't forget. Pickles already being caught either side. No idea where to look. Confusion spreading amongst his face. PT, an easy frag for him. Another round back on the board.
Yep, good play there. They're going to be able to bring that one back. Obviously, that's the thing as well. That's a major reset now for Infused. Puts them in a bit of an awkward situation. They will try and buy out what they can. You've got Ozzy once again with a 5-7. We know he can be absolutely deadly with that weapon. Hopefully, they'll go for a little bit more of a shock and all-style play. They need to throw a spanner into the works here. Get this round over with. Try and set themselves up once more. You can see Immy with the Mag 7 as well. Just going to be playing around drop down with that. And a fairly effective weapon. You see that a lot with Immy. He'll try and just go for those shotgun pushes. You know, very reminiscent of JW in that sort of style. That's how he likes to play his control towards drop down. And slow stuff once again from Endpoint. Just work on that default. No need to get over aggressive.
And it's all about learning the transitioning point, though, something we touched so deeply at the start. But the perk for Endpoint is that they're in control of the situation. They can dictate the play that Infused have to bring to the table. And especially with these pistols, this time there is no utility, there is no Kevlar behind them all, but Ozzy. So for Endpoint, this is kind of their golden scenario. It's everything they drove towards. This 4th round should be theirs to back in their pocket. They just have to play their cards right now. They're beginning to build up on towards B. The default has been spread aside. Lungy playing close and personal with the pistol, fires on a few, finds himself a double kill. But Money Max on the trade should better find a double in return. PT actually going to be the supporting anchor as he picks off the chest of Lumgy. But something tells me this could be very damaging. The CT side are still playing these angles that, I say, favour these pistols.
Looking sloppy as they try to make their way in towards the bomb site. They are left in the 2 versus 2, have the rifle advantage, 40 seconds left to play with as well, and the bomb is in their hands, luckily. And they're going to do the smart thing, just start to back off, work together. Redeeming factor for me is obviously you still have Mighty Max alive, arguably the best player in the UK scene in terms of how predominant he can be with a rifle, how well utilised he can be, and he's also very clever as well when paired with Innie. So, as he makes his approach through, let's see if they can try and take control of this A-bomb site. There is a welcome out there for them. Shaney will reposition. They're playing 1-1 to a site right now, so once they get contact, that's when things are going to start to go south. Shaney absolutely obliterated there. Railed down by PT as soon as he goes for the peak. Just falls on Aussie, grabs the AK. Seeming like he might try and cause a stir here.
I think at the same time,
save,
yeah, he's seen the value in saving that AK, right? I think that we needed to see Shaney get that first pick on towards PT in an ideal situation. Just being 7 HP is such a minuscule amount, but at the end of the day, Shaney falling just means for Aussie, okay, well, what can I really get out of this round? A round win? That is searching something way too thin, really trying to stretch it. So why not just take that AK?
That's the thing, right? They need it for the extra economy into the following round. They have to try and set themselves up with at least some kind of funds to work with. If Shaney did get the opening frag, you leave yourself in a 1 versus 1, most likely up against Max. At that point, Shaney could have held out, wait for his teammates to rotate over, and as you were saying, there is a possibility. It was on the cards for them to actually get their retake off. But Endpoint, it looks kind of sloppy. This is really weird for them right now. Usually it's a lot more structured. In terms of these side takes, it seems like they're making slight mistakes here and there that are really hitting them hard. That was a round that could have gone so far south towards the end there.
A lot of his positioning, when you look at the way they approached platform, they went out very 1 by 1. They went out together with their pushes down towards block as well. The utilage was also a bit all over the place, which meant that these deagles, these close-range pistols, had an easy opportunity to really pry them apart. We saw with that P250, the whole reason the double kill was found there was off the back of just not a single flash being thrown. So hopefully we can see some reparation for Endpoint. These rounds are getting a bit more important as the clock ticks on by, of course, going to this 5th. Infused, their money isn't stacked up, but they have that rifle to save, and they have those pistols. Unfortunately, as they're already going to start strong with one, Shaney going to find one of his own, but Endpoint seem to be clearing house.
Yeah, simply just going to work in their way through, just dispatching everyone in front of them. It looks easy right now. It's going to be that 3 versus 4 as the push comes through, but Immy in a nice little angle will catch Lumji off guard. Aussie can trade back, headshot on towards Immy though, and the bomb will eventually go down, leaves him a 3 versus 3, but they've got those 2 AKs. They have been able to scavenge the Kalashnikovs. They've got a little bit of utility to work with as well. 2 flashes now on Aussie after he gets that next one. And they have that all-important kit. There's possibility in this retake, but not when they just run out wildly like that. Didn't even use the utility. Just going to get punished by the positional player PT. And Max to simply dispatch Pickles.
PT pretty much hits the nail on the head there, because the minute he gets an opportunity to spot out a player and go for that frag, Max is then just going to swing out wide on sight, and it's a crossfire that all ends in a giant boulder landing dead set on the face of Infused, just rocking them down to the situation they find themselves in, a 1-4 scoreline. But there's positivity at the end of this line. They can buy now. They get that AWP into the hands of Shaney, who is arguably a very strong player if he can play this one right.
Yeah, very dynamic as well. He's that player on Infused that can rifle phenomenally, but he's also a very prolific fragger when it comes to utilising this AWP. Let's see if he'll get the opener towards Max. Just going to go for that slow contact style, peeks in, gets punished. That's a 1-for-1 now. If Snods tries to trade this back, Snods as well, when we talk about AWPers, he's one of these players that rose up in the scene. You know, there's not that many UK AWPers left at this point, and Snods trying to set his shoes as one of the better ones. We saw fantastic stuff of his display against Flipside just, you know, a couple days ago. Let's see if he'll be able to bring that to the table in today's games.
We want to see some of that Wayland, the treatment right, a jump shot right over the side of fences, but hopefully we don't have to clutch too hard at straws. I'm sure we'll see some of that price really get shown from a lot of these players. But for now, it is going to be some early drop zone aggression. Molotovs going to spread their ranks amongst the 4. Smoke going to be there to greet them, just to really blow that one away. Shiki holding tightly, doesn't want to make sure that he overfaces here, but at the same time, needs that information to give to his team. Because Team Endpoint, if they get themselves out of drop, they could quickly overwhelm them. Pickles, very much in a one-and-done position. He can't really spray them down if they go together as a unit from platform and from drop, which is about to be what's taking place. He's spread very, very thin. Lumji going to be there to peek out from platform now already. Spots that one, misses the first shot, but gets the second. A nice little trade from Pickles, but it's all falling apart. Immy, backwards and forwards. This is a bloodbath on this site.
It's been very awkward. Snods obviously left alive like that. Not much he can do. Had to go for the peak round path. Gets railed down by Shiki. They aren't going to try and scavenge that second AWP though. Just going to stick with the 1 AWP setup right now. And an instant pause comes in now. I'm not sure if this is going to be tactical this early on from Endpoint, or if this might just be a small tech issue that they're going to be sorting out. But nonetheless, Endpoint have had these awkward rounds where it seems like they have the structure early game, but things have just been struggling through. Potentially Endpoint not really playing to the best of their abilities right now early into this one.
Well, there's a big saying that really springs to mind that really, I think, sits tightly with Endpoint, and perhaps you can kind of elaborate this a little bit on for me, which is that the game plan is there, but the execution of it is very, very poor. You can certainly see that Immy's sitting there and going, okay, boys, this is how we need to construct this round. This is the puzzle that I'm trying to create. But then what we actually see by these players is that they have very different ideas. They try and tack on a bit of a personal approach. And that approach, albeit, yes, sometimes you can see raw greatness. You know, the players from Max, he can make those quick-fire decisions and do something truly beautiful. But at the same time, sometimes you just need to execute Imi's plan. The grand plan at this time, falling short.
Yeah, I mean, right now it just seems like they're getting a little bit caught off guard. Definitely playing a sort of a slightly different style of CS in terms of what I'm used to seeing. One of the great things about Endpoint for me is what's always been down to that core three. Now, this is the thing. Back when RDL was with them in the days of FM, towards the end of that period, before they actually broke away and became Alter Ego and then finally now Endpoint, right? He always spoke very highly of a lot of their players. And he was like, Max is one of these players that is so easily utilized but needs that micromanaging. And when used correctly as that combo with him and Imi, that's how they perform so well. Now, this is one of the things as well that he spoke about SEO, where he was like, SEO is like your Olofmeister. He compared him very heavily to Olofmeister and said, you know, you're very usable, you're very organic, you know what you need to do in the team, and you get things done on your own. And then Imi has always kind of been that in-game leader that's been there holding everything together. This is why they've been together for so long. There's only that one period where Max departed from the team, where SEO took a step back and Imi went into the coaching role, where they were playing with Rattlesnake, PT, and everyone, where they actually stopped playing together. Other than that, there was around 18 months non-stop of them being the only three players in the UK scene that actually stuck together. That's why they are known as the tripod.
Well, I think if you look at that as well and go, the time they split apart, I think it only was quite literally about 2 to 3 months at tops, which, yeah, you then kind of substitute that number into 18 months. That is a hell of a lot of time. You're looking at the same sort of equivalent of Virtus Pro in Europe. Because in the UKCS, 18 months is a very long time. Can you name any other team in this scene that has ever stuck together for that long? Any core players?
No, not throughout CSGO. Throughout CSGO, there's none of it. You know, back in Source, definitely there would have been players like that, and you have even full teams, but it's just not been the same. So obviously that's the thing. They have the structure. They know how to work things out. It's just they always sort of have these issues, and then we see two players every time have to leave and rejoin. It holds them back. But now, I think they're actually in a fairly effective spot. Pete, someone that's got so much talent in him back from the days of Source, a lot of experience, wants to play with these players. Very respective of him, his calling style, knows what they want to do. And then Snods as well, someone that's been putting so much time in and also fits into the team very organically in terms of being Mr. Motivator. He can bring them up. You've got some of these players that will take a hit very hard, whereas he'll reset that, which is why he should be very great for this team. Now, though, a bit of an awkward buy into this one. They do have 2 rifles to play with, the rest of them on these Tech 9s. Seems like they will be going for this early drop face, whilst the real play will be happening towards the A-bomb site. Let's see how this one will unfold, Flakes.
Yeah, certainly left themselves in a bit of a pickle, but it is going to be Snods to lead the segue out up one towards A long round. He's looking for that early face with that Tech 9, but wants it to be close and personal. Doesn't want a longer range duel. That's where he gets caught in a bit of an awkward situation, as you said. So, this core 3, they're going to go step by step. Mighty Max being the player second from behind, and that's the reason they're playing like that, to cover that longer range angle as well. So I like this approach from Endpoint. It is smart, as we discussed. But are they actually going to be able to get that first duel? Is this B play going to lead to anything? Because I'm looking right now at this map and go, look at PT's position. He's in second room. Not a single player is facing him. He's going to try and smoke his way out and then make this cross. Pickles, he's checking for it. But nothing has come of this. PT is still kind of lurching around the shadows, being the man to pull them away from that site. And actually gets a pick on towards Lunch as well. This is huge.
Yeah, this is going fantastically so far as they just nail down everyone in front of them. It just leaves Pickles and Shaney left. Pickles not going to clear his angle quick enough. PT gets the frag, hungry for more. Should find one onto Shaney, will do so, and grabs the ult for Snods into the following round. That just looks sloppy from Infused.
The beauty of PT's play, though, is the minute he makes himself known, he pretty much says, hey guys, Infused, just so you know, I'm over here right now, so you need to worry about me, which means their attention is suddenly drawn, which means Lumgy is kind of put up on a pedal and said, Lumgy, you need to do all the work on this A site, which, that's just too much to ask from one man.
And honestly, here's one of the things about like common lineups with Shiki and Shaney and Co. When you see these very reminiscent lineups, it's always Shiki, Shaney, Lumgy. They always come into these teams, they'll break away for a little while and then rejoin each other, right? But the thing is, you see those over rotates throughout history far too often. As soon as they hear a fake or they hear anything, they commit to it like that. It's very sort of bloodthirsty in terms of their mentality of the team. You can see them falling into that trap time and time again.
For now, though, just pistols. Yet again, another awkward situation for Infused that they find themselves stuck upon. Close range fights they're trying to take. P2000 just staring dead set into the smoke. They're hoping that Imi is going to take a quick drop on down, but Endpoint, they're smarter than this. They know not to just go Zerg rushing around the map and go close range. So instead, they're playing very, very slow. They're going for the old standard strategy, which is, okay, we're just going to walk out B platform. We're going to Molotov off everything. We don't mind spending some money. Because to Endpoint, one of the kind of real big things about this team, they don't really care about money, they just care about rounds on the board, which is why they don't mind spending so much. They need to check their corners, though. Pickles is going to get up a double kill, and that, again, is that kind of dryness, that sloppiness being brought back into a round. But for Endpoint, it's still shaping up to be that core. 2-6 scoreline, pretty much guaranteed, as Shaney is the last man standing.
Yep, Shaney coming in as well, over by Broken Wall. SEO should slot him out. Nice little headshot there from Ben. Will upgrade as well to the AK. Oh no, just going to stick with that M4 there. Couldn't actually find one. But this is the thing, as you were saying. Obviously, they've gone for that Molotov towards backside. Back box. It's gone through, hoping that would force Fickle's hand, seeming that he would go for the face, gets away with it. They don't clear the angle at that point. Comes in with 2 frags, but it wasn't kind of anything too much. Sure, they were nice impact frags at the time, but they're not going to account towards them actually picking up that round. This doesn't really work out. And Infused as well, still in this awkward situation in terms of their economy. It really hasn't started to flourish yet, so they're trapped, forced to use these pistols once more. And they've just been struggling. It seems like they don't have much ingenuity, obviously, with Shiki right now in terms of the helm. He isn't utilising them too well in these ecos. We're not seeing anything really spanner in the works, shock and all, catch them off guard, where these pistols will actually become effective. They're playing close-range angles, where, of course, they are going to be beneficial. It's the only really chance you'll have with these pistols, but that's been kind of it. They're kind of stuck in these ecos. Oh, a big whiff from Ozzy there. That is horrendous. Not the man you would expect to miss that many shots, and he does get taken down by PT. Snods as well gets the trade back on towards Shaney, leaving them in a 4 versus 3, but the welcome map is on it.
Shiki playing very, very close and personal up on towards his B site, clearly looking to catch Imi off guard if he chooses to go for this push. But the bigger point is something you mentioned, the A site, it's wide open for them. Infused, they've not got a single line of defense. There's no military action to try and support them. Instead, what we're seeing is a city there left to be ravaged by the Endpoint side, trying to play for their 7th round, and that's the response they're going to get now is Pickles coming in late with a deagle, which, in fairness, if he can find a first headshot, that's all in good, which he will find, claiming the head of PT just right through the crack of that wall, but getting a second here should be impossible, but no, Pickles, he's making it work, punishes Snods as well. How is he getting away with this? Someone needs to shut this man down, because there's 35 seconds left. Ezio trying to dunk a nade down onto the balcony, that's going to finally claim his life, but this is risky. They have Kevlar on that CT side.
Yeah, they're in a spot to actually try and pull this one back if they want to try and go for it. Imi is in a good crossfire here, just trying to hold their angles. You can see SEO as well, edging out, hoping to find that first 1v1, try and leave them in a 2 versus 1 situation. Imi with the peek, will get the tag off, not quite the frag just yet, hungry for it, will reface, but it doesn't work out that way. Lumji executes him, just leaving SEO on the site. The clutch man for Endpoint, always so cool, calm and collected in these situations. Peeks out, gets one, hungry for the spray down, but the spray transfer wasn't meant to be. Shiki with the trade back, and that's the 3rd round for Infused.
Infused played that so well. They came together as a 2-man unit, meaning that, unfortunately for Ezio, unless he could just whip out a straight spray transfer, there's nothing he could do there, which, yeah, he is that kind of chilly man who can come up with some big plays at times, but, well, that's just one too many to ask for, which, for Infused, is now literally pitch perfect. Just look at the economy of Endpoint. We talked about the fact they prefer rounds over worrying about their economy. Well, it kind of sinks back into when you look at their cash right now, they've taken a hell of a lot of losses. Their economy is at $100, $150. That's not too much for a score at 6-3, with a strong a fair few together.
True. This is the thing as well. Shaney now donning the AWP once more, the weapon that we spoke about how proficient he can be with. And as he goes for this aggressive play towards Long, see if he will actually try and take the fight here. In past times, we have always seen Shaney getting a little bit overzealous in these kind of rounds. Normally, he will extend a little bit. Shiki will lower the leash, allow him to get a bit more distance out, and that could be his downfall. But right now, the play will come through, trying to take that matrix control as well. So he needs to be careful for a potential backstab that could occur.
Shaney, though, is going to look straight back down into it. He could catch them off guard if he chooses to peek this, but instead he backs off, which, again, is another small but subtle read coming out from the CT side, because he realizes if he faces that, yeah, he could find a pick. But what happens when the trade happens? Long control is gained, and bit by bit, a jigsaw puzzle is solved. That leaves Infused. There to defend a very lackluster hold on towards his ace. Like Shaney will pick up the one in the process though. Goes for a double peek, only finds the leg on towards Snods, but he's been given so many repeeks. Someone stop this man. Now whips out his sidearm. PT finally will trade him back. But there's that ace site, Ramp now being the pinnacle point of contention.
Here's the thing, is Imi going to clear his angles? Shiki can get the trade back instantly, you'd imagine, will do so, finds the headshot off onto him, leaves them in a 2 versus 3. Now, they have got on towards the bomb site, they can try and get that locked down, but it's going to be so awkward. SEO has to get a frag here, doesn't work out that way, and Pickles should trade onto PT, doesn't happen though. Sick little headshot from PT, the Birmingham Salvo man trying to roll back the years here, as he battles this one out. Can he find Lumji? He's going to try and just get the bomb down. We'll get that plant through. Just holding the site, waiting for the peaks to come towards him. They have some utility to play with. Aware of the position of Lumji now. Shiki as well. Gives himself away. He can just go for the spam as he's over by Stables. Should transfer damage if he wants to try and do so. Repositions, but it isn't going to go his way. Shiki with a frag, and another defuse comes in. 4 rounds now snapped up for Infused.
And almost an identical approach to the way they play pistols. They just do the same thing with the rifles, right? They wait, they go together, they get the information from the shoulder peak coming over towards Spence. And it all totals up to just another round, as you say, 4-6 now. A lot of these rounds, it feels like Endpoint had a very good chance to win, and kind of the big question that springs out to me is, okay, how many repeats are you generally going to allow over towards Long with an AWP like that? Where's the utility? Where's the quick push to finally capture that trade?
The thing is as well, though, when we look at this line. You can see now, seeming like they want to try and punish that AWP of Shane. You're just going to go for the brute force play. You'd imagine they're going to flash through. Snods will bait the shot and they just charge in. They should find this kill fairly easily at this point, as they are just going to overwhelm him. AWP very hard to use in that situation. PT will actually get the frag, and it's going to be onto his own teammate. That Snod's going down in the crossfire there. A little bit awkward, but they do find that kill. Obviously, off the back of just a couple of Tech 9s, it's not too horrendous, as Imi now upgrading to the AWP as well. The secondary AWP for the side of Endpoint. Let's see what he'll be able to find now he has the scope in his hands.
Clearing out some angles is going to be able to catch Yoshiki, so a nice little opener for him. Brings it back to a 3 versus 3, which is a much better situation for them to try and work their way out of. But at the same time, they've got to be careful, because we have 2 men from the CT side playing over on towards A. You've got Ozzy still playing close defense now, going to get himself on the inside lane there, just to make sure he can kind of cover off those angles. But at the same time, you've got Lumgy over towards door, which is a very powerful position. Because of that quick rotate you can make towards balcony, Ozzy close and purple, finds himself one, goes back for the quick spray through the smoke, finds himself the tag, but can back off. There is no trade there. Which is so tough, because he can just run riot in the backlines. With a flank of Pickles is going to be ended by PT, but still, you're left in a pretty damn tough clutch for PT to make.
Ozzy left. Probably the most on-point rifler on that side of Infused. The one that is going to be so damaging. You will see the reposition from PT. Wants to get towards that B-bomb site. Has a smoke, has a molly, has a flashbang as well. Abundance of utility to play with into this round. So he can try and zone out the CTs. Can block out their lines of sight. Get himself into a fairly advantageous angle. You can see that going down now as well. Have to make his life a little bit easier as he just plays close to the site. This could catch them off guard, but he's focusing too heavily on door right now, and his head is visible. He's actually up on that ledge. Ozzy going to be working his way through. Flashbang goes in. PT might be able to win it off the back of that. Repositions, finds the headshot as well. And Endpoint finally bounced back.
The flashbang, the game breaker there. The minute that gets thrown over towards Rock, the jig is up, the position is known, and then PT actually gains the advantage, because then he can swindle on around, play towards the right of Fountain, and he gets the advantage of Shaw. So a nice little return play, just another round back into the bank for them. Kind of have to look towards the kind of Infused and go, okay, the signs of breakage are starting to show again. Back to these pistols, back to this kind of half-bodged Kevlar.
Yeah, in an awkward spot. But the thing is as well, they've had a few rounds where they've actually been able to pick these up just off awkward retakes later on into the round. But they don't have much utility here now. The one flashbang they did have is going to be utilised for this really wild long peek, but it works in their favour. Snod's obviously UMP. It does have a little bit of range to work with, but isn't going to go that far. You are going to be able to tag on towards Shane, knocking down 25 HP, but they do lose a man very early into this one. Not a great start so far for Endpoint. Let's see if SEO can change their favour. Comes in, takes down Shiki. Troller back on Shaney though. And there's Mighty Max to get the trade once again.
About Infused and these pistols, as you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. That's exactly what they're doing. They're just going for these very overzealous, very wild plays. But every single time, they seem to work out. As the game develops, we see more and more of these rounds get just slung back into their back pockets. Even if it's just 2 versus 2s, 1 versus 1s that they lose, it's still so much economic damage towards the Endpoint side, which is just pitch perfect. Pickles having to play over towards platform, already going to be very, very tough for him with this USB. Taps away for that headshot, but Emmy is going to secure the trade.
Taking down Pickles there. And he does it as they just overpower everyone on the bomb site. A revolution as they claim B as their own territory. And it's Ozzy once more, always last alive for Infused it seems. And as he is just going to be tiptoeing through, going for the slow approach in the rear. UMP in hand, does have armor fire, just charging his way through now, has the reactor, wherever his position, being stealthy isn't going to help you out here, my man. They can just get better angles off the back of it, pushes through with his famous 5-7, as he lets out a flurry of bullets. We'll find one frag on towards Imi, hungry for more, but time is starting to tick away, and Max had the angle to slay.
A good decision from PT just to back off into Chicken Coop and not face that, because instead of leaving a door wide open, they slammed it dead shut in their faces. An 8-4 scoreline now, Endpoint, they've doubled up. But can they keep it there? Because you look towards the T-side on Cobblestone and go, T-side, you have a lot of opportunities. You know, you talk about platform control for a terrorist point of view. It's so easy for you to take back at any point in the game. So what I want to see from Endpoint now is that variation again. I want to see them spread out a bit of a default. Look towards something towards the A site perhaps. Don't just rely on forcing yourself to get this early plat control, get something done in drop.
Yeah, try and gain that drop count control early, work your way through it. This is the thing. Ozzy, he's whiffed a couple of shots here towards drop down. In the past, you'd see him being an absolute machine when it comes to warding people off that try and bird their way down. He has just done great work, normally what I'm used to seeing, but it's not going that way so far, so obviously maybe things need to switch up for him a little bit. Slow approach once again from Endpoint though, just holding their guard. Hoping that we'll see that overzealous face once more, maybe the confidence on the side of Infused. They go for that late round push, try and get information. They'll be able to get an easy frag off the back of that. But Infused are playing it smart, just holding their crossfires and holding back.
Yeah, these crossfires as well could actually shape up to be pretty damn lethal. PT is going to drop on down, trying to find the frag on towards Ozzy, but no, the point of weakness actually chums up and surpasses us. He finds that first hit, backs off now, relying on Shaney to do the work over towards the A site. He picks up a nice little smooth double kill, looks for a triple, and he gets away with it. Mighty Max is going to fall in the process. Where does this leave Endpoint? Down in the gutter, Imi, the last man standing. The mathematician, you could say, but that is all about it now, because no tactic is going to save him.
Very unfortunate that will get taken down. And obviously that's the thing. That comes back to Shaney's play. Huge 3K. They had no chance to trade that back. Just frag after frag. Very awkward as they got railed down. One of the things is as well, though, if we hop our mind back to what I was talking about previously, this lineup, you know, it is essentially Nerd Rage instead of the fact, instead of Dream, you have Pickles now. And they were always very dominant on their CTRs on Cobblestone. That was where they used to excel. Their T-sides had a few moments of greatness, but it kind of lacked in certain places. But Cobblestone was always a map that they loved to play. Now with this new Infused lineup, it's very reminiscent of that. It's the same sort of play style. They're utilizing the same playbook. But let's see if they're only going to be able to do well on their CT half. But PT with an insane opener. A deagle shot towards Pickles. That is huge as they just overwhelm the bomb site. Essie with the fragment towards Shiki as well. Leaves Shaney left in a 1 versus 2. This is so awkward. Bomb goes through, but it isn't going to land on Snod, so no one gets killed just yet. Repositions though. Molotov to play with and has that kit. Slow approach towards the bomb site now. Molotov will go out trying to draw out the CTs, but no one is going to have to walk their way through the fire and flames just yet. You can see him clearing all of his angles, Flakes. He is terrified as he goes for a slow approach through. What can he actually find here?
Such a big ass. Nods doesn't want to face one, relies on Ezio's team play there, and it all works out to be one hell of a round for Endpoint. They just completely dart in that site and leave Infused no angles to run towards. And it completely reverses the economic standpoint now. Instead of Endpoint standing there going, oh yeah, we're kind of running low on some money here and there, we're having to go for some pistols. Instead, it's the sort of the same scenario for Infused now. They've been able to get up a few rifles, the core 3, but then they have Deagles in play. But hey, let's not knock the Deagles, because they've got some pretty sick entries in the past.
Yeah, it's true. They have been doing absolute damage, especially Pickles.
This is ballsy.
So much time. Yeah, Shaney playing around the smoke in this close angle. But the thing is, he's only ever taken that aggression towards long. They haven't seen him go for this mid play. They do go for the spam, but he can catch PT off guard there when he has to go for the reload. That is very smart play from Shaney out of nowhere into that. But this is the thing. That one play, instant trade back, you leave yourself in a 4 versus 4. This favours the T's at this point. And with one man stacked towards the bomb site in Shiki, unless he can ward off an army, it's going to be very hard for him to defend.
For sure. I think one thing I do kind of want to discuss on this CT side, though, is that you looked back in the past of them as their previous roster. One thing that stuck out to me then on the CT side Cobble was the overuse of tree. Now, we actually saw that get abused by Endpoint. The first thing they did when they ran out of sight was they had 2 players check tree straight off the bat. They also dumped a whole lot of utility on towards it to completely nullify the position. So, look back past those 18 months. Hopefully we see Infused really start to correct that. Mighty Max, starting strong, taking the head clean off of Pickles.
Yeah, fantastic frag, hungry for more, but Essie will be the one to do the damage. They're Max's brother in arms. They've always been together in these lineups, and they are hungry to do the work. Shiki arriving on the scene, wants to cause a stir, will take down Ezio. There's a quick trade back from Snods, executing his former in-game leader. And Lumji as well gets obliterated. That will end the half of a 10-5 scoreline in favour of Endpoint. Infused, you get 5 rounds on your CT half. Something where, in the past, they used to be so dominant on. Are they going to have a lackluster T half, or have the tides turn?
I think looking at this, I'd actually say this is a pretty okay half for both of these teams. I think Endpoint, they wanted to start off strong. They wanted to really rally behind the early stronger half and make sure they got those rounds, which they have with those 10. And for Infused, yes, historically they've been able to perform quite well, but at the same time, historics aren't everything. It's all about what you can do in the presence, which facing Endpoint is a very strong team for them to face. So, let's find out. Their pissed round going to be a big part of this play.
Slow stuff right now as they set themselves up for what looks to be a late round drop burst. Possibly just going for a bit of a fake towards the A bomb site with Shiki going to be the one to cause the stir. Hoping they'll draw and over-rotate and then explode their way out. Everyone with armor, no utility. IGL has not opted to go for a smoke and a flash here to try and aid them on the idea of a fake. Could that come back to bite them? Actually going to reposition as well, as they've been able to hit a fair bit of map control. They've tiptoed their way through mid. They have got matrix control, but side is being covered. They have that the double player setup. They have the crossfire, and Snods, as deadly as he is with Norp, those skills transfer over to his pistols.
And needs to pretty much find himself a hell of a load of heads here, because this is going to be a quick, unsurmountable push coming his direction. So much aggression. An angle that could be traded, but at the same time, if he just darts to his left after finding that first pick and doesn't just sit tight and go for all of those frags, then it could be something truly beautiful. Finds that first, but is backing off, playing it smart. Gets off the second now. Shaney is going to secure the trade on towards Mighty Max, but Snods, he's still doing so much work. Oh my god, Snods! How is he getting away with this? Whips out an ace. Snots, the man to show up, clearly is able to bring the USP to his AWP.
Yeah, this is the thing. You know, it's kind of very formidable. A lot of all players do transfer their skills to those pistols. Snod's always been unreal when it comes to those USP skills. Great A-side defense. The way you want to kick off the half, especially for him just on his own basis, and for Endpoint to lock that one down, should project themselves through now, claim the next 2 rounds, really propel ahead here, eliminate any chance of Infused starting to get themselves a bit of a buffer into the round. They are going to go for the full SMG buy across the board. Everyone utilizing those UMPs. Let's see how this will work out. Obviously, this Tech 9s can be kind of effective in a burst-style play. You want to just try and overwhelm your opponents, but that's about all they can get. They have the scout on Shaney. If you get the tags out, you might be able to soften the opponents a little bit, make them have less sustain. SC are actually fairly low off the back of that first trade that comes in. And Snod's going down. It's going to be a little bit awkward towards the A-bomb site. But let's see how it unfolds.
Emmy to be here on towards platform as well should be a pretty big supporting act for them. If he could just play out to his heart's content, it would be fairly good. But no, the Tech 9 of Pickles is going to catch him with his back turn. Now Pickles still pushing even forward. PT completely none the wiser to what is taking place. And this is looking embarrassing almost to the Endpoint side. They should have known that a lot of these angles are being pushed. Got to be said, some big textbook mistakes from them now. They're about to lose a round. One that, well, they really shouldn't have lost because a lot of those angles, they were favoured.
Yeah, it's true. They were in some good positions. They had the advantage in terms of their arsenal. Should not have gone that way. I mean, that's kind of in the story of the game. Shouldn't, and it did. Multiple times where Endpoint have had the upper hand. They've let it slip in some awkward situations. SC are going down as well. That's another rebuy that has to come out. And they're not going to have any money. This is the thing. Their economy is already busted. So at most, they're getting out of 5-7. They needed to hold on to those weapons so at least they have something to try and aid them into the following round. They are hungry for the kills. Max will take down Pickles. So at least he gets himself a little bit of cash and can save that weapon and that all-important utility as well.
Yeah, it's all well and good, but you really mentioned such a big point for Endpoint. The sides have switched. They've gone from focusing on just getting those rounds, stacking up that T side, to now being on the CT side point of view, where economic really is just that extra little bit more important. Especially when you're playing against likes of Infused, who will try to railroad you. They'll sell you short. They'll abuse your stocks, and they'll leave you sitting there with nothing left. Endpoint, look at them right now. USP, CZ, P250, one solitary SMG. That's not enough considering the mistakes they've made.
It's true. It's really not what they wanted to happen off the back of that round, and it's going to be so awkward to achieve really anything into this one. Basically, if you just want to get in, get this round over with, grab a bomb plant as well, try and get as much cash as possible. Snodge will get the opening frag though, drops down towards Ozzy, is going to come in with a huge punisher. Max as well, hungry for more, trying to deal with 2 players at once, will claim the frag on towards Shiki, and PT has cornered off Lumji. He's basically trapped at this point, but the push through mid is going to be able to overpower them. Shaney, nice frag there as they push their way in now. Lumji, if he falls, it leaves him in a 4 versus 2, which is going to be so awkward. Max on the site as well, so damaging when it comes to these UMPs. He has the element of surprise, but can he catch him off guard? Lumji should have been killed there, but somehow is able to overpower Imi. Repositions, jumps on the site, and might find Max as well.
Oh, Max was left in such a good position, opportunity to really step up to the plate, but Lumji is just running right in the backlines, then drops on down. Snot and Max will combine to pick up a double kill, but is it all but too late now? 1 versus 1 Pickles with a rifle up against just a UMP. Firepower favouring this T-side, but Mighty Max, he's going to win. It opens up this round with a triple kill for him, and somehow makes it work out of a bare bones performance for Endpoint. Odd stuff. But, again, another round that shouldn't have been won, that has been. This time, we have a big difference, though, with that saying. We're always going towards Infused with that, always. But, Endpoint, they get themselves one, and a big one as well for their economy.
And that's not just a moment of individual brilliance coming out from those players there. Right place, right time. Infused as well. They got cornered off. You saw them getting split up. They were left on those 1v1s. Obviously, this is the thing. They wanted to try and go for these backstabs, create a little, element of doubt, try and go for those plays. But when you get cornered off like that and you get taken down, you then give your opponents free weapons. And at that point, Endpoint just took the lead in terms of battle with the Arsenal and started to pick them off. And it looked good. Obviously, going down to the wire with a 1 versus 1 though. Now, into this round, economy is a little bit iffy for Infused. Don't have much utility. And now they're minus the Pickles as well.
Maybe trying to spice things up a little bit as he finds himself that opening headshot. Ezio, a bit of pressure on towards him though, as it is going to be a bit of a boiler cooking on up now over towards drop zone, as Ozzy trying to make a really big meal out of things as he pushes in towards second room. Ezio still waiting, biding his time for this push. Lumji, patience from his side as well. Really, it's such a virtuous attempt from both of these players, because they're waiting for each other. But neither of them will face, and neither of them will get a reward. It's all but a lossless situation. As PT holding tight towards Rock, he can cover the second room push, so in theory, Endpoint have all the angles covered, the bases are all checked. Ezio has backed off as well, but Mighty Max will fill that void.
Yeah, he has repositioned as they try and go for this play. Ezio has the flashbang over by a tree. Will blind them if they want to try and go for this burst out. You can see Shaney and Co. They're just revving their engines, foot on the pedals, waiting for the right moment to strike. That restricted utility is going to be the only thing that hurts Infused a little bit. And SEO still just waiting. Shiki, he wants to create the diversion. If he can get the opening frag towards the A bomb site, especially if he gets two, try and draw out or rotate to stabilize things, but it isn't going to go that way. Now they have to attack. It has to be this time as they have to commit because of the clock working their way through into the site. Ozzy leading the charge, comes in with one, now doubles it up for the second kill of the round, looking good. Lumji striking on the in-game leader of Endpoint as well, leaving it just on Snods and Max. The last flashbang they had will be used to burst their way in towards the site. Can they find the frags? Those Snods coming in with one towards Ozzy, but Shaney with a quick fire back, railing down Mighty Max with a headshot, and Infused snap back into things.
Everything without all the bricks were put into place. But, well, the mixture they used to actually build them clearly all but crumbled apart. This B platform was something that was just completely annihilated. Infused were able just to walk on out and find those picks. We saw Ozzy as well pick up a nice little double kill. That's already a cute impact in itself. Endpoint, having two players towards A, really kind of took away the impact of this B site hold, and well, now they're left back on that original standpoint. We got them from rallying behind their rifles, rallying behind that constant round switch, to going, welcome back to the land of the CZ, the land of the P250s. Yes, they're mobile. Yes, they're pretty free. But there's also one hell of a border put between you and the firepower of Infused.
True. That's the thing. That range distance is going to be so good for Infused to try and capitalize on. All you need to do is just try and keep your distance, work together in these moments, get these easy frags. Pickle's coming through as well. Had the drop on Snods. We'll find the headshot off. There should be a trade back as Max is close by. Just waiting for the right moment to peek. Is going to tiptoe through. Spams towards him. Can't quite connect just yet. Doesn't matter as SEO Max having caught in a meat grinder, but he still does the work. Gets the fragment towards Max. Imi and SEO finally find those two kills, leaving on a 3 versus 3. But look at the arsenal that Infused have compared to what is left on Endpoint. They cannot scavenge any really effective weapons. Max had fallen. SEO had to rotate quickly, so he didn't grab that UMP. This is going to be very awkward.
But just hold on a second, if Ezio plays his cards right, if he just holds tight, then we could have seen something, but no, he decides that he needs to peek, and that's where it really does come back to the bruteful point that is Endpoint just getting themselves completely brushed aside, as they can't do anything in this round, surely not. We do see the rifle gain from PT, but the light bulb moment for him is, boys, I've got 30 seconds left. I'm not playing a win, I'm playing a save.
Yeah, Pete right. He's going to go for the save there. Smart stuff to do, just try and hold that weapon through. Imi as well. Has armor. No point just running in blindlessly and just trying to achieve something. Just hold towards that B-bomb site. He's also hunting out, hoping someone will go a little bit John Rambo and try and find the frag to punish him. And if so, he might be able to get a little frag off and take them down, potentially scavenge their weapon. But the T's are just going to be holding their ground firm, sticking towards the A-bomb site and exiting together, most likely through mid.
Infused right now, they're going to be seeing dollar bills as they're trying to chain things together. That's their goal right now as a structured terrorist side. We don't want to just get one round and then get this consistent upset from Endpoint. They want to get 1, 2, 3. Really begin to double that up so they can get themselves that money in the bank and use that longevity to catapult them up to an equal scoreline with Endpoint. So this is pretty big for them.
Yeah, huge cash injection will be going their way off the back of the bomb plant, forcing out only 2 rebuys as well, and they were able to scavenge some of their utility. It's not too bad, so there's going to be a full buy instantly coming into this. You can see with Endpoint, Max has a lot of money. Max has been able to do very well with the UMP kills. He's been building up that cash fairly effectively. So into the following round, if they want to, they can get the AWP out once again. But they just want to try and buy out what the necessary things will be into this. They know they're not going to be able to pick up this round most likely, so you just get a couple of armors coming out. No kits on the board as well. He obviously still had to scavenge Kalashnikov. And they do have a little bit of utility play, but it seems like it will be a very aggressive play early on towards that bomb site. Let's see how this AK will play.
It would be so harmful. PT going to open things up with the first aider by Imi, already dropping his Shaney down just a measly 6 HP. Ozzy will at least bat things back with one of his own, but hold on a second. Ozzy here should be pretty much the man that shuts this round down from any sort of impact at all, as he's coming in through door, which is a position that the CTs have no idea what is coming their way. Mighty Max was there, a deer in headlights. Ozzy now going to push even further Snods. The one man on site to perhaps have a bit of an impact. But that feels like almost just asking for a bit of a dream at this point, unless he can find back-to-back headshots on what? 3 players? Then this round is done and dusted. He's going to get isolated by rifles. They push on through, finds one, fair play to him. But getting that second and third, too much to ask for. Infused, just another round back for them. 9-12 now, closer than we've ever seen it before.
Yep, as they work their way in. Looking good, but obviously here comes out the buys. Snortby dropped the AWP off the back of Max. He's going to be taking that M4. A lot of utility play into this one. Finally, things look good. Is this where they're going to flip the table? So they've had an absolute enough of it and start to lock it down their CT half or Infused. Keep this going, Snods. Aggression. Just playing that slow star, holding the angle, smart stuff. Hoping the peak will come into him. They are going to go, just trying to go for the fast peak round, but Pickles gets caught off on that plate. Snods will eliminate him. You can see the smart stuff as well. As they back off, they're not going to overextend, not going to try and get the follow-up frag. You get the opener. You put yourself in a lead in terms of the battle of attrition, fall back, hold your crossfires, and wait for Infused to keep making mistakes.
And this is the beauty of the kind of the UKCS side now. Not really the beauty, more the polar opposite, because now they've tried to have to break out of that default. They left kind of their dazed and confused trying to work out, okay, boys, we've lost that first pick. Now how do we confirm that into something else that actually gets us around? We're seeing a very singular push over towards platform. Shaney completely blind. A solo push in towards drop zone. This is the ingredients for a disaster. It's like a student cooking a terrible meal out of nothing.
True, anything but rice is expensive, so you get what you can. And Mighty Max is going to have a frag on the house. Aussie as well. We'll trade back, but Pete was ready for that one. And it just falls on towards Lumji. The man making his approach now towards the bomb site. Let's see if he can actually achieve anything. Flashbangs will go over to try and ward him off. The peek from Pete, but it doesn't really go that way. Lumji with a sick little readjust. He's able to find the headshot. 30 seconds left to play with. As he tries to clear these angles. Wants to try and get the bomb down if possible. Trying to face out these 1v1s. Spots Simi. Goes for the approach into drop down now. Panicking. You can see he knows time is starting to tick away. Has to play something. Molotov goes through to try and force him his hand. But he's just going to hold back. Goes for the side peek. Finds Snods. Gets the follow-up frag as well towards Imi. This is outrageous that he's done so much work. 3k already on the board. Trying to go for the bomb plant now. Max is the last man left alive for the side of Endpoint. Has flashbangs to play. Flashbang will go over. Going to peek from the right side of block. Can he find the frag onto Max? It would be so huge if Infused are able to pick up this round somehow. Max now left in this 1v1. Doesn't know about his position. Waddles out and gets punished from the sidelines. Lumji does the unthinkable.
A quadra kill for him in that round, catapulting his stats from just a weak point up to 18 to 16 now, stepping up for his team in a crucial scenario. Because look at Endpoint, they can't just go guns blazing into this with a full buy and everything they want. Instead it is all but just ramen for them. Pistols, some Kevlar on towards Mighty Max, a flash, a smoke, make that 2 smokes on towards Ezio. But that is literally it. That is disastrous for Endpoint, a round where they tried to break the tide. They tried to keep that 3-round gap added up into 4. Instead, we're down to just 2. 12 to 10. Infused. Realistically, should be their 11th right here. Endpoint, off the back of that round, could have things completely tie-broken up.
And this isn't the Endpoint we want to see right now. These small mistakes here and there, small misplays, just issues that are coming up. Where Infused are just somehow getting moments of individual greatness. Barrels of impact frags attached to all of the players on that side, and it's looking scary. But can Endpoint switch things up a little bit? Imi has to peek. The Molotov throws him out. He's so low as well, so should just be essentially a bullet shield, just receiving the gift of death right now as he gets picked off. Lumji as well. More work is going to be done. This round is already going to be better.
Yeah, just frags yet again from the man right now that is the hard carry almost for Infused. Lumji picks up that double kill. Starts to really drop dead these pistols, aided by Shiki as well. Ezio finds himself one, but, well, all he's doing really here is just scrabbling around through the dirt, seeing what scraps he can pick on up. But realistically, all he can do is try and scarf away, force just another frag, and fair play to him, runs away on just 4 HP. But his death is coming. It's not just a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Now, you can see everything's starting to crumble away. The cracks are starting to show. But Endpoint, the cash has luckily been injected back in. The economy gave them a second chance, and the AWP has been brought up by Snods. Is this going to be the difference maker? He got the opening pick last time around. This time, he's going to go for that aggressive play towards the D-bomb site. This is where we've seen constant contention. If they get him into an elevated angle, just try and do something different. He will take that play actually towards Olaf. And let's see if he can get the opening frags here.
That smoke is going to act as the perfect shroud for Infused right now, so to really just hide behind, but it fades. Over time, it will dissipate. And that's where Snods can really lurk into the shadows and strike with the AWP. But Infused, they're reading into this. They don't quite want to face. They're going for a quick shoulder peek here and there, but they're not giving him any room. They're not giving him any angles to cover. Shaney nearly giving him just a bit too much, but no, backs off yet again. Infused. Rendering Snods currently useless. He's going to have to throw out a smoke, get himself potentially a flash out onto the platform, or still try to pull that pick in. But if anything, Snods' job now is just to gain map control, instead of gaining that first blood, which is something that, as you mentioned, he was so strong at doing. The spotlight shines on towards Ezio. His roller towards drop is going to be crucial.
Let's see if Ezio can actually find these opening frags though. Aussie is the one on the scene. You can see him playing anti-flash here, just playing close under. Smoke will come through. It forces the reposition. Flashbang goes down to try and delay now. He will give the call over to me that they have taken control of drop down as he plays close underneath window. An effective angle. When they try and jump through, you can get a nice headshot just like that. And PT with a double kill as well. Fantastic play so far. Lumji is furious though. Wants to try and turn the tides. 30 seconds left on the clock. It has to be now or never. Lumji follow up frag on towards SEO. There's Shaney charging his way towards A as well. They need to recover the bomb. They need to try and get it planted. Headshot comes through from Shaney, taking down PT, the man that single-handedly defended A in the past. But look at the position of Max and Snods. Max coming through, headshot on towards Lumji, buys Snods the time to try and rotate over. Surely they should get the frag here, but it doesn't work out that way, but there is no time. Shaney did kill Max, but Snods just has to hide and win the round.
Heartbreaking for Infused. They had everything going their way suddenly, just out of a quick few seconds, all the frags connected. But there's one actual piece of utility that pretty much secures that round. That Molotov on towards door. Because it made them use that extra 10 seconds or so to dive through that vent and get themselves out on towards that site. And that time alone left them with that 5-second clutch. Such an awkward predicament for them. Very heartbreaking stuff. But for Endpoint, it's a crucial round yet again because it denies Infused that hype, that momentum of saying, boys, we've just tied it up. Instead, Endpoint, they're starting to edge things back out again. It's 13-11. They have the utility in Snods. He's looking for the entry pick, and the smoke is bad.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted as well. That's the thing. Snod's going for that aggressive play towards Olof. You get the opener. It puts them in a great spot already. Now the round is so much easier to mold into what you want. You just hold back, play your crossfires. You don't need to go for any more exuberant plays. You've already done the hard part.
So now, Mighty Max playing the elevated angle, looking for some information, trying to see, okay, Infused, are they going to be cockroaches just coming out the cracks in the wall, trying to make something? Just nibble on a bit of leftovers here and there, or is it just going to be a slow push on towards this B site? So far, it's just Ozzy to kind of just take that quick jump on down, but he's blind the minute he even thinks about the concept of a quick peek. Imi still wandering around. SMG, not necessarily as strong as a weapon, actually caught with his back turn, but Mighty Max much more the supporting actor, a player that has been popping off, but even he's going to be caught out. Pickles, just another frag for him. Ezio fighting towards Connector, that's one in the pocket for himself as well, so already working out the numbers for the CT side, but finances, that's on everything, because Infused, they're on the site and a bomb plant should be pretty much secured.
There's the frag coming through for Ezio though, on to Lumji, will claim it. And it just falls on Pickles, trapped by Stables, bucking like a horse, as he gets taken down by PT there. You have to put them down when they break their leg swakes.
It's got to be said, I'm looking at that bomb plant though. I'm looking at why was that spread out amongst APC instead of just going straight for that site, because that looked like a bomb plant that, yeah, should have been pretty much on paper, done and dusted, and that could have helped them. Instead, Lumpy gets caught out from going the APC route.
Yeah, I mean, it looked kind of awkward. Obviously, moments of possibly a communication breakdown from Infused there. They definitely are an emotional-driven team, so you never know if things might have gone slightly wrong and upset them a little bit. Shaney wants to try and capitalize here, using the counter-aggression, takes the AWP towards Snods, and says, you know what, I'm better this time around. Takes him down. Pete, though, he's been on point with his rifling skills so far. Can he live up to his name? Comes in with the opening frag. Unfortunately for him, Deagle Pickles coming in once more.
One is not quite enough. They need to double up, get themselves a second, continue to whittle down these numbers, pit themselves further and further in the lead. Infused, they've done just that. They've turned their heads on towards Endpoint and said, boys, you're at a 4 versus 2. Max is going to find one, but the Flames trade it back. Shiki just dropping it dead set at his feet, which is such a weird play, a wacky decision. But it works out so well, because that bomb is going to keep on ticking, and the only thing Ezio can say is, boys, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm running. I'm saving that M4. Yeah,
Ezio forced to save now off the back of that. Really can't do anything into the round. Ozzy almost getting the advantage though to drop down, trying to go for the stealthy knife in the back. So obviously Shiki had the information of Max's position as they just all exit together as well. Just going to be going back towards T-spawn, but Ezio will be able to get away with this M4.
And I think that has huge perks for Endpoint in terms of those finances, but you have to look towards the scoreline and go, Infused. One thing about these players is, I'd say it takes quite a lot to get them that energetic vibe. They're not quite Snods where he can just get hyped over absolutely anything. I've heard him screaming just about random things such as sandwiches in the studio. So it takes Infused a whole lot more, right? So I think for them to start to edge out these rounds, that tiebreaker moment is going to be ever so important. Which is why we keep going back to Endpoint and go, okay, you're stuck on pistols. This should be 13-14. Making that 28th round ever so big for Infused, because if they do equalize things, you start to look at the future of what could be a 16-14 or a 15-15 overtime.
Yeah, it's true. This is the thing, that potential for overtime slowly edging its way closer if it does get that close. And I mean, this is the thing. Endpoint, obviously, at this round, it's basically a throwaway. SEO would need to do everything. SEO needs to get the opening frags to allow the other teammates to scavenge weapons. They don't have much money to play with, so it will just basically be a throwaway. Just get through it. This is why they've taken this time out now. Take the pause, work out what you want to do, try and lock things down, have some structure into the following round. But the scary factor is the double AWP setup comes into play. Infused have the stolen AWP from Snods, and you're going to see Shaney and Shiki, the two S's, the dynamic duo, the yin and yang of Infused. They're coming out with this power play. This could definitely thwart Endpoint in their plans.
Yeah, the thing is, Endpoint, they're just going to have no idea that this double AWP setup is coming. So when it does kind of appear, you kind of look at them and go, okay, well, what options do a double AWP setup on T side have? There's certainly a few, but it's not limited. It's not like you can just hop around the map and do whatever you want. There's only really a few angles you can head towards and try and really pry them apart. So for Endpoint, it's not about the long-range game of adapting, because they're already going to know exactly how to deal with it after they realize it's come. It's about the initial picks that Infused find. The one question I have for you, though, is that, yeah, double AWPs, these pistols, that could be a little bit more awkward. Because these pistols, close range, if they overwhelm the double AWPs, then you're asking that question of, okay, one of them gets dropped. Give it into the likes of Snods. Throw it even towards the arms of Mighty Max or Imi. Any of these players just whip it up and try and make it work. For Endpoint, with these rounds, with these SMGs, these pistols, whatever they're trying to throw into it, it's about throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yep, it is a bit of a risky play, obviously, as the buy does come through. We're going to see PC going to be going for the UMP. Those slight upgrades on the pistols, one flashbang to work with. Obviously, SEO still had a lot of utility. So let's see how this will actually affect them and how they're going to play this. The smoke goes through. Shaney, once again, trying to go for the contact opener towards the B bomb site. But he's a lit Freeze just waiting to burn down, but there's really no punch through. They are going to be taking their approach towards the A bomb site after that. The reposition starts to come in already. If they catch wind of this, that's when they need to be quick on the rotate, and that Orc Lurp from Shaney could be kind of damaging.
For sure, very curious to see how this is going to work out. But for now, Infused, they're just putting the pieces in place. They get themselves ready to strike. They begin to walk out. She's going to miss that first shot, but Pickles, the insurance policy. He pops in, just slides right in front of him, takes that frag. Ozzy's going to charge even further, trying to secure mid-ramp. Goes to the spray transfer, lands the headshot on towards Imi, and bit by bit, everything is working out. And a big point right now of this round as well is look at Shaney. Currently, Endpoint, they have no idea what a lot of these guns in the round are. They know, okay, they've got 2 rifles, they've got an AWP. What about that second?
Yeah, it's true. Obviously, only seeing the one AWP over. And Shiki, Shaney not being detected. Just going to be attacking his teammate there a little bit as well. Rallying the troops. As it falls on towards Snods and PT, just attempting to go for the save. There is no weapons to scavenge, obviously. It was just that 1M4 from SEO, but that's trapped on the A bomb site. You're not going to be able to grab that. So they are forced to just go for the save. But the pause would have been for the next round. It wasn't about what they're going to do in this round. They would have spoke about what they want to do on their next buy. So that is what I'm interested in seeing. How Endpoint are going to try and switch things up when the economy is back in their favour, moving into round 28.
I want to pick your brain on this almost, though, because I want to know what exactly do you do on a CT side to really bring things up and change things on the fly. Because Endpoint, we've already stressed way too much the knowledge of Imi, so we know it's there. But what decision does he make? Where does he put these huge players? Is Snod's going to suddenly go for a quick aggressive peek out mid, for example?
There's a lot you can do. Obviously, that's the thing as well. You have been seeing that moment of a slower style of warping from Snods, where he just holds his angle, is very passive. And up against Infused, where they've been very generous in just going for these aggressive faces, that's how you want to play against it. Slow is always going to beat their ridiculously fast approach. But into this one, trying to take the aggression, when once again, they didn't have the greatest economy as they worked their way through, they have to throw a spanner into work. So you need to just utilize some form of mobility, charge your way in, potentially catch your opponents off guard, hoping they're going to be using the range advantage on their angles. They did get a lot of information off the back of that first push towards the bomb site, but the reposition comes into play. Shaney will just trying to hide this close contact style, try and get the openers. Snods playing underneath Broken Wall. They don't clear it, should get a frag at least.
The potential for more even is almost quite damaging. It's a very scary prospect, but he has to play his card perfectly. They won't check. He drops the bomb, gets himself one for troubles. Lumgy and Ozzy, though, both combine, and it tops up to a brutal standpoint for Endpoint now, as they're left with just Ezio, just Imi, which really is just awkward as it sounds, because where do they go from this? Spam a few shots through the door, well, that's all well and good, but it's not going to work. Lumgy and Ozzy, both yet again, will tot up into something that's truly beautiful for Infused, because this is the tiebreaker round, 14-14. Endpoint, they can buy, they can finally reapply all that tactical knowledge, and this is a big round for them. But it's also that momentum, that hype for Infused. Something we spoke so dearly of. These guys all right now are going to start to pop off, and they're realizing, boys, we can actually take this win. It's not impossible.
Yeah, it's true. They're getting close to the mark. So this is where the game just has come in. Obviously, round 29 now. This is what the pause was all about. You now have your weapons to play with. How are they actually going to opt to play it, though? Flashbang from Max here. try and counter the push so far. The smoke will go up, but they instantly just explode their way through it. But they don't clear the action straight away. Pete, unfortunately, wasn't able to do too much. Trade back comes through as well, going to be shutting them down. SEO goes big, but it's actually Shaney to punish his own team. Finds the frag on towards Lumgy. This makes it so much easier for Endpoint now. You're left in a 3 versus 2. They can play this slow and pick this round up on the retake.
The one concern, though, the one big difference could be Shaney. He's playing over towards platform. He's got the AWP. If he can find that pick, he equals out the difference. Waiting towards second, waiting to see, okay, can I get that peak? Yes, he can. Deletes Ezra from distance. Ozzy now creeping around to the crevice of the smoke, picks up another one towards Snod, but it's all working out. Low HP on the players of the terrorists, but Imi still trying to make it work. They're sitting in smokes, they're playing this perfectly, but Imi's going to stick this one. Shaney reads him like a book, peeks him out, gets the frag, and Infused. They claim themselves match point 15-14.
Wow. Going to be able to take that 15th point on the board. Not great. Not really what you'd expect coming out from Endpoint. Definitely looking like a different Endpoint today, but the buy will be coming through anyway. They have their GMP to play over 2 Mag 7s. They need this round. They need this round to try and stay in the game, take it into OT, possibly try and reset and win it there, but this is going to be such an awkward one. The advantage in terms of Arsenal is huge for Infused. And they've been looking good up against full buys, so with this little bit of a shaky semi-buy coming out for Endpoint, you have to wonder how this one's going to go.
It's another bad smoke towards platform smoke that is certainly set in motion to be abused. The wheels already are infused. They're rolling them over in their default to really clear out all of these angles. Emmy coming up with a grand plan of playing around that smoke with that Mag 7, which is all well and good, but that's going to fade. Look at how patient Shaney's being. He's just going, you know what, someone is going to face this. He's going, I predict that at some point in the next 20 seconds, I'm going to get a frag here. Which is just great from him, because every single time, they don't know how to smoke platform properly, and that is disastrous for Endpoint, because if Emmy does try and face, the chance of him actually getting picked off are almost 100%.
Yeah, he really should be punished. If he tries to go for the peak, obviously the thing is that Mag 7 is kind of useful if you play close to Broken Wall, just underneath. You can hold the angle when they walk their way through, especially with the crossfire setup with Pete, right? Because they're going to try and clear it. You can get 1 frag on the board, hopefully get 2 if you're lucky, make it a little bit easier to work with. Shiki catching off Max like that over by Matrix really kind of tells the story of how this round should go. Follow up on frag. Yeah, follow up fragging towards SEO as well. This one's basically over.
At this point, very, very tough. Snod's trying to have an impact in the round, trying to be the playmaker for his team. Going to find himself one Imi, going to pop up in a second. PT making it work on towards Lumgy, so it's not all done and dusted. This isn't an open and shut case. But a 2 versus 2 with firepower is still hugely in favour of Infused, and not only that, positioning as well, because they're going to scarper over towards the safe. Long range shots from Imi with the Mag 7, tries to connect it, still trying, but still not quite landing. And this is going to be tough. 7 seconds coming through on the clock. They're going to walk right into the arms of Shiki here.
Yeah, the only factor is, well, Pete's the only one that can really actually find the frag onto him because he has that AK. But Imi does it with the Mag 7! Oh, that would have been outrageous if he got the frag on towards Ozzy as well. Tagging him down to 9 HP. Man, that was weird. But anyway, Endpoint, unfortunately, not going to be able to close it out. That is a 16-14 scoreline. Devastating. Endpoint, you would have thought they'd been able to close that game out.
We need some